Boom! Yes, people, we back. What's going on? Welcome to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast. And today we have the first guest that is making a return appearance.
Wow.
Isn't it, Michael? You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
Right, so without further ado, Harriet Richardson, welcome back to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast.
Thank you for having me. What a pleasure. I didn't realise I was the first return. Is that good or bad?
Nah, that's good. You're a regular. We're your biggest fan, do you know what I mean? So thank you very much for doing this, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you for having me back. What a treat.
Yeah, it's sick. So, and this time as well, it feels like you've reinvented yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
On purpose, yeah, maybe. I think it does. Well, it's funny because when I did your podcast last time, I think I was at the cusp of trying to like actively leave design. And I didn't really realize these things until I'm talking out loud about them, that's where I was. So maybe, yeah, it does feel like I've shifted a bit.
I think we've shifted a bit as well.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, because the last time we was doing this, I was sat in my mum and dad's caravan, if you remember. So I feel like we've gone up in the world since then.
Yeah. Whose caravan are you in now?
I'm not in the caravan this time. You want to see the views out there?
Really?
I'm going to show you. Oh, sorry, I won't be. I'll show you later. I'm in some nice settings this time.
Where are you, Chris? Are you in your New York penthouse?
Yeah, something like that. I think you've actually visited this penthouse at some point, Harriet.
I remember that.
The shoebox that I have in Harlem. Still making it work. The heating's just coming on, so you might hear some rattling and the place starts shaking and that. Do you know what I mean?
Mr. Moneybags. The heating's
Nah, it ain't that. I can't control it. Do you know what I mean? This thing just comes on, and I'm in like a pre-war, post-war building or whatever they call it, and these things rickety. It's mad. Right, so sick. So there's been a bit of a switch up, and me and Michael were chatting before where we left off the last podcast, Michael, right? And it was that transition. I think you were talking about doing Good Richardson, was it, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you describe who Harriet is now?
Right. Well, definitely not Good Richardson, that's for sure. I don't think I could be less that. That's really funny. I forgot. So that was me setting up a design agency.
Yeah.
From the word go, from buying that URL when I was hungover to cancelling the subscription to it, like at the start of this year, my heart was never in it. You know, like I was doing it because I was going through the motions of what you do when you leave having a job at Pentagram. And I thought you become a creative director and then you set up your own studio and then you find a wife and have a kid and like buy a house. And I didn't do any of that. So what would I do? What would I describe myself as now? Well, a performance artist, probably. Yeah, just performance artist. And I think I work in lots of different disciplines, but the through line between all of it is that it's performance art, which is crazy to say out loud and to sort of own as a title. But I love it.
You know, we were going to kill this question just before you came on as well, Harriet, but you brought it up a few minutes ago. But what do you think you were trying to prove when you left design behind?
Like, you mean when I started an agency? Or tried to? From
that transition of being in the world of graphic design, working at all these agencies and going through that linear path that we sort of expect to go through from university to being like, I'm sort of done with this space?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, obviously both my parents were graphic designers in Manchester, and I think I've been trying to get them to love me a lot longer than I can admit. You know, like even into my late 20s, I was like, if I get a job at Pentagram, will they think I'm a success? Or if I, start an agency or make money from design or whatever, will they, not love me, but will they be proud of me? And leading your life in any sort of way to make any person proud of you apart from yourself is like a mistake. So I think it was just really about my parents and proving something to them more than the outside world. But it's nice to, to say you earn money and can, sort of sustain yourself in any sort of feasible way, especially in somewhere like London. feels like an achievement. So to give that up, to give the certainty of, I say certainty in quote marks, to give the certainty of a steady job in a respected, agency up, feels like it can't not feel like a massive fuck you as well.
Yeah.
To lots of different people and lots of different things. So it's been wonderful, really. There's not a single day that I've regretted, leaving that behind. And I think that just speaks to like the bigger picture of I'm trying to live truthfully. I'm trying to live my truth. And I know that's cringe, but it's true.
Yeah, no, I love it. When you're performing and as Harriet, essentially, right? Do you feel it makes you more or less yourself?
Wow, good question, Shep. You're going in with the hard hitters at the
We
top.
got a little bit better with this one. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that you see the progress from last time. You know what I mean? So we had to up our game. You know what I mean?
Levels to this now, Harriet.
That's crazy. Good question. I mean, to be honest, it feels the most authentic version of me is telling everyone that I perform most of the time. And I think everyone performs. It's such an old idea that like we're all performing in different ways with different groups of people in different settings. I think we're all performing and sorry, that's my dad calling me.
Nice.
I think we're all performing and it's nice to be able to say that that's what I'm doing, honestly. And when I see people, like I was just talking to my friend earlier about when I do my live shows and I see a girl in the audience and she nudges a friend and she goes, "That's you do that." That's the best thing that can ever happen to me, because I feel like I'm not only communicating who I am effectively, but I'm doing so clearly that someone can see themselves in me and my work. And I don't get that when I design a logo for the Co-op Bank. Do you know what I mean? No one's nudging someone being like, "That logo reminds me of," do you know what I mean? Well, maybe they are. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't get that same sort of like warmth from humanity from doing work for other people.
Yeah.
So from that, we want to get straight into it now, Harriet. Moving into stage 2, so temporary, the tattoo project. So, how do I explain this? So you did a thing with some people, and you got their mums tattooed on your body, and obviously it's quite a wild story.
Yeah.
And it was this story actually, which obviously it just made sense to come onto the What Does Your Mum Think podcast and discuss it.
Perfect.
So I think that's
what does your mum's boyfriend think?
Yeah, exactly. Could you go a bit deeper into this project?
Yeah. So firstly, it wasn't things with people; it was sex with 14 men. And where do I begin with it? I had the idea for this project like over 2 years ago. A lot of the relationships that I've had with people, they're with like quite a sort of, they're with a stereotype of man, which is an avoidant, attached sort of, I think avoidant attachment is the best way to describe it. Someone who, once it's gone tits up, which it inevitably always does in those sort of styles of relationship, the focus is around erasing what happened, and pretending you don't exist, pretending it didn't happen, pretending it wasn't important, and that a mistake is best sort of buried, and that it's a mistake, because I don't think it's a mistake. And I was getting sick of that happening. And I also recognize that I'm 50% of that decision. I'm 50% of the reason it happens that way. It's not just because the person's like that, but because I go for them. So it's as much about accountability as it is about undoing erasure, I suppose, the project. Anyway, I had this idea a few years ago because it felt like a way to sort of point at what I've put all of my time and energy and love and effort into, because I've put so much into those relationships, more than I have into, I think, anything. And to then have nothing to point at the end of it and say, that made me who I am, sort of thing. That was like the core of why I started thinking about how I could pay tribute to those people and those moments in my life. And then, the feminist in me, I don't really want man's names on me, to be honest. And then I was like, well, how do I find a way around that? And then the mums just felt so much more sort of like appropriate and topical, because the other thing I like about it is, if we think about erasure, these men, and I say these men like, they're more than just what they've done to me or done with me. But in this context, they hold their mum apart from every other woman in their life. She's like the sacred, holy, can't touch her, sort of like perfect person, or not perfect, but just like they care about her so much, and then a one night stand maybe not so much, or other women just they're held apart. And I think having the name of someone who you don't think of as temporary on the body of someone who maybe you do think of as temporary, I really like that sort of friction and the juxtaposition between it. And if it upsets you, because I've, by the way, the the reaction to it's become, like just as important as the piece itself. But if it upsets you, I would love to know why. Like, why would that upset you? Because getting tattoos of people's names is not it's not a phenomenon. I didn't start it. And, I know enough people in my life even that just have tattoos that don't mean very much to them, or they regret, or it's like naked Marge Simpson. Why is that not outrageous? But me getting some mother's names on me is like the most shocking thing you can do. So I'd love to know, and I think I've got ideas of why it upsets specifically men. But I just love that. I love that I can make something that provokes like that reaction that's so visceral and so emotional. I don't think they realize how emotional it is to be outraged about some other woman's body and what she's done with it. I love it. And I'm getting death threats.
Are you actually? Yeah. Right, wait. So there's loads to unpack, right? The first thing, right, can we see it? Not all of it. You don't need to obviously reveal, but can you not see just a little bit of it on the thing?
So the third rule that like no one sort of seems to like pick up on or care about is that you can only see it if you sleep with me.
That's right. Is that the thing? Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, but you can only see it then.
Is that the thing? Is this? All right. Say no more, Harriet. What? This is your first tattoo.
Yeah.
Love it. Say no more. How was the obviously we've had a few. How was the pain there? It's not nice on the ribs.
Oh, absolutely insane. I was like, yeah, sure. I've got quite a high pain tolerance. And I also had this like really romantic idea that nothing could be as physically painful as the ordeal of these 14 relationships has been. I have a problem with obsession. I suffer from like really severe like limerence and sort of breakup dysphoria, and I was like, none of this is going to be as painful. Oh no, it's the most painful thing
on the ribs. It's not nice on the ribs.
And like the size of it, because like I wanted it to be big enough that the words stay crisp, that it doesn't sort of like I felt like if I was doing it I should do it. So it's quite big. It runs from like it's like that. That's really painful. What the hell? I quite liked it though in a way. But yeah, it was
going
mental.
Back to Go, Harriet, go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything of any worth.
I wanted to go back to the death threats. I know you mentioned before about why people might have a problem with it. But also I can assume that you knew the magnitude and eyes that this project would get on it.
Not really. I mean, I could never have guessed how people would receive it. You never know. You can have like sort of a general idea that it might, it might pick up attention. I didn't know it would. You can't be sure of those things on the internet. It easily could have got 50 likes and it was just my friends. So the fact that it not only sort of was shared a lot, but the sort of reception was crazy. I think I expected it to upset men more than women, which is true. It does. And as soon as I've seen this happen a few times now with my work, where when it's the first day or two, it touches people that engage with that sort of stuff anyway. So they understand performance art, or they at least have a knowledge of it, or they know me and my work, so it's not such a shock. And then after a few days on the internet, it then reaches like the outer, the sort of global, stage. And that's terrifying. That's men that don't know what performance art is, or even if they do, they sort of, oh my God, I could not be further politically and emotionally. And, from all these people that are now receiving my work. And there's no point defending yourself. There's nothing you can say or do to change the experience that someone's had in their life to lead them to saying all meat burns the same, someone said to me. Or, if I ever come across you, I'm going to XYZ in great detail how he's going to kill me. And all this, like, what happened to you in your life that seeing a woman make a decision about her own body leads you to want to murder them? That's so crazy. And also, what a successful piece of art. Because all my favorite artists, do you know what I mean? Like, if art's meant to make you feel something, there's a guy in Texas saying he's sharpening his knives. Like, I think I made a piece of art.
That's crazy. Yeah, it
Mhm.
really is crazy, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But like you said, good art makes you feel something in it. So at least you've, at least you know what I mean, ruffle some feathers in a good way, you know. As go on.
No, I mean, like, no, you can't tell me that, someone trying to find out my address from a guy that doesn't even live in this country. Of course, he's emotional. That's a really emotional thing to do. They hate it.
Yeah, it seems like a personal issue, doesn't it?
It could not be less to do with me. That's the other thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's me to the point that I'm outraged personally. Look inward. It's only something that's happened to me in my life. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't see like a Coca-Cola ad and be like, I'm gonna fucking kill someone. Like it's like, again, you're having this reaction because it's something within you that you're either not comfortable with, or it reminds you. And by the way, it's so valid to have whatever reaction you have to something, that's valid. I don't think it's a bad thing if people don't like it. I think it's a bad thing if you threaten to kill someone because of it, though.
Yeah, some internal issues on their side, I think.
Right.
Has any of the mums reached out to you? Or have you heard of anything from the mother side?
I've not heard from any mums. No, I mean, it's only been out for I think this is the 3rd week that it's been like out in the world. I heard only one of the 14 guys did anything in the way of contact, and it was an emoji response to one of my stories, which was like the clapping hands. Which I thought was so perfect because it's almost not really saying anything. It can be good or bad. It could be sarcastic or genuine. And I messaged him back and said, "Do you want to comment on it or anything?" And he just sent a smiley face. So even that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be interested in the future. I'm sure maybe one day someone will reach out, but we'll see.
When you're creating a piece like this, Harriet, and you're putting it out there to the world on social media, are you aiming to keep that within your circle, within your bubble of people, your audience, or are you wanting it to go global? Are you wanting it to go big? And obviously with that, you're attracting these people who are saying that they want to cut your skin off, and you're getting these death threats and these awful things, right? But that's where you're going to grow as well. That's where you're going to grow, beyond your expectations.
I mean, I don't. What's the right answer? I mean, what do I really feel? The only reason I would ever want to be famous is because then I get to share concepts and ideas with people on a much larger stage than if I'm just in a small gallery in Manchester doing it. But I don't want to. I've never had the sort of urge to want to be famous for the sake of being loved by a lot of people, or I find a lot of that love already exists in my life. So I've got no sort of interest in it in that way. It's more just if it makes my work more sort of accessible and I get to access people. I don't love getting death threats. I don't love someone telling me they want to roast me like a rotisserie chicken. But at the same time, it almost feels like I'm doing a service to, again, truth. I could not be being more honest in that piece of work. It feels like the most reflective thing that I could have done at this time of my life about me and about how it feels to be a woman in 2025 navigating relationships. That's just what it feels like. So I also think there's a level of I sort of have to give up control in a way that hasn't happened before, where I try and defend maybe a few comments, or I'll respond and be like, well, actually, and then I'm like, no. The thing that you have to accept once you start sharing work out loud is that people are going to disagree with you, and I just have to, I can't spend my life defending the decisions that I make. I think that's a really bad idea. So I'd love it. Actually, no, it really emphasizes how different everyone is, because I think it's really easy, especially in a city like London, to surround yourself with people that have similar views, to exist in circles that sort of all agree with you, or the things you disagree on are so minor. Whereas there's whole countries and the whole spheres that I don't operate in that are wildly different to me, and it's really nice to be reminded of that. I thought I didn't think Trump would win the election. I was so sure of it. I was so sure that it wouldn't be him. And when that when that happened, again, it was like a reminder. I was like, oh wait, yeah, everyone doesn't think like me, or like London, or like New York, wild.
Yeah, it is interesting because like I guess the way the reaction becomes a part of the performance too, innit?
Yeah.
So like positive, negative. I don't even know if that's the right way of putting it, positive or negative. Do you know what I'm saying? But regardless of how it's perceived and how people react to it, just elevates the performance, right?
Oh, definitely. And I mean, when I'm doing live shows, I'm trying to find a way to bring performance art to people that wouldn't engage with it normally.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing shows, even though it's in a comedy sphere, just because they have the sort of setup, like the architecture of a show, it's very much like showing the piece and then showing how it was received and why that's part of it. And I love when you get people that don't realize they're engaging with art as they're laughing along with like someone calling me a virgin or whatever. Like, that all of that is art that you're engaging with. I love it, especially in Manchester as well. Especially like people like my parents who saw art galleries as very much like other spaces for either rich people or old dead artists. That kind of thing. I think trying to make it feel more accessible and mainstream to like a wider audience. I really care about that a lot.
Yeah, nice. Does this now change how? I guess it's both ends of the spectrum, innit? Do you think it'll change how you approach future relationships or hookups or whatever the thing is?
Mental. It already has.
Has it? Yeah.
When are you putting this episode out? Do you know? Christmas?
Yeah, soon. It'll be the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Because I have to be careful about what I can say. I went to a comedy gig in Soho Theatre like 2 days ago, and I went home with a guy that was like performing there. But I went home with him, and before I got in the cab, I said, I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, I don't, by the way, I'm doing celibacy. We can talk about that in a bit, but I'm doing a year of not having sex with anyone. Not just because I don't want to get any other names on me. And it was really painful, but just for like my own sort of experiment, like, and just to see what that does to me. And I explained that to him. And I think that encounter was different in so many ways from the other ones that I've had before. I think that the tattoo, sometimes it's received as a challenge that they want their mum's name on you, and sometimes it's received as probably more as I intended it, which is like, you can't just sleep with me once and then I'll forget about you. You're going to be like a part of my life. So and to give them that knowledge before we sleep together, I think is new for me to be able to do. And I think that the tattoo just sort of helps me demonstrate that, because you can say to someone, oh, I'm probably going to be like, obsessed with you, or maybe this will mean more to me than it means to you. And normally a guy that wants to sleep with you will be like, yeah, me too, but to be able to be like, look, it's on my skin, like I mean this. It's quite nice to be able to sort of point at something as evidence.
So I guess since you're in celibacy then for the next, or when did it start, Harriet?
Good question. 128 days ago.
Okay, cool. So you've got a bit of time to fill up that space on your skin. Like, it's not going to get filled up anytime soon.
Exactly. And listen, let me do some girl math. There's 14 names. It's over 15 years. That's less than one a year. So when people are like saying to me on Reddit or Dazed or whatever, they're like, I can't believe how many people this is. I'm like, that's literally less than one a year. It's so, I don't think that's a lot. But also, it doesn't matter if it is a lot. It doesn't matter if it's nothing or loads. Who cares?
Yeah, it does really. Are you just going to continue going down the leg on that if that was the case?
Listen, I'm going to Kinder Egg seal around me. I'm going to have to go all the way.
I mean, you fucking kill me. Wait, so talk to us about this celibacy then. How do you feel off this?
Good. I mean, so I went through a massive breakup and basically got, dumped by a guy that I love a lot, but I also was, shitty to him. And I think that, if I'm being honest, the celibacy was more, the difference between like abstinence and moderation. Abstinence would be me exercising, being able to sort of relate to someone in a healthy way and then leave it and then whatever. And that's moderation. And then abstinence is me just not doing it at all. And I think the abstinence just felt sort of necessary in the sense that I've never been single. I've never been not obsessed with someone. I've never been not in a relationship for like longer than a few weeks. And I'm 30, and I just thought, if I don't do it now, I'm just never going to do it. It just feels so unfeasible unless it's dramatic, and that felt quite dramatic. So it's nice because I don't know if you know anything about like 12 steps or addiction or anything, but I'd say one of the methods is to tell everyone around you what you're doing so they hold you accountable. So being able to say I'm not having sex with anyone, and like most people that I'm friends with know that, and therefore their friends know, and that kind of stuff. It helps sort of hold me accountable as well. It's not ever really been so much about sex itself. It's more about finding an idol or someone I can dedicate my time and energy to. So I think sex is just like a sort of accessory to that, but it does help me stay accountable. And I have, for the past few months, I would say mainly achieved that. I don't think about anyone when I wake up in the morning, which is new. So I love it, and I recommend. I know so many girlies, specifically, like friends of mine that haven't done it and want to not, have a partner in their life for a bit. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, nice.
So going into stage 3 now, Harriet, obviously this next project is what you'd expect. The end result would be the opposite of celibacy. So you went on 100 dates and you tried to do that in a single day.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about this project?
So that obviously was before the temporary one. Yeah, it does feel like the sort of antidote to that, doesn't it? Although I have to say, I think I also did it before Bonnie Blue slept with 1,000 men, and it seems a little bit less impressive now that she's done that. But in that landscape, I think it's almost the opposite of Bonnie Blue, because I was looking for connection. I was sort of trying to find speed connection with 100 different people. So it was on Valentine's Day last year, and the idea came from, I was feeling very like not seen in my relationship, and to a point where it was sort of like killing me. I can't really explain it. I know it sounds quite dramatic, but I was screaming to be seen or heard, and I just wasn't feeling that. And 100 dates was a way for me to try and find connection, its sort of core. It was also quite selfish. I just didn't want to spend Valentine's Day alone, and my partner at the time was away and didn't really, think twice about it being an important day. So I did 100 dates online, and I say online because I'm going to do it in person next year, like a round 2. And it was amazing. It was, I think, 18 hours long. It went from like 7 a.m. till whatever, 2, 3 a.m. the next day. And it went from something that was inherently selfish, of me just wanting to like not spend that day alone and to find connection, to something that I shared with these 100 and something people. And it was, I think, my first piece of durational performance art, and just changed like the chemicals in my brain. I was like, oh my god, this is so, what's the right word, like it just felt like an all-rounder of a project. Like I got to express how I feel, I got to share it with other people. It was sort of new for me. Yeah, I loved it. And the other nice thing about it, I guess it has this link with temporary as well, is I initially just did it for it to exist in that one moment. I didn't mean to share it with people. It wasn't really going to be part of any sort of show or anything. It was just for that day. And the same with temporary. Like when I got the tattoo done, the intention was to never share it with the world. It was just going to be for me. And then a few months later, I thought, why not let other people see it? I felt so sort of happy with it that there was no reason to not. But I think that speaks to truth as well, where if I'm doing something, I love this. If I'm doing something and I would do it without anyone else around, without anybody else seeing me do it, and I would still want to like pursue that, then I think I've found my purpose. And I realized that with art, I would do it. I would not sit there at, like 2 a.m. and be drawing logos for who knows, like Kellogg's. I wouldn't do that unless I was being paid or it was for something. And the same with, even with comedy, I wouldn't sit there and write jokes, if it wasn't to be perceived by someone. But with art, I can say that I would do all those things, and I wouldn't mind if anyone ever saw them or not. I think that's it. I think that's like the end game. Sorry, that was like a proper rant.
Nah, love it, Harriet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's sick. It's really sick. Do you remember like who ended up being the first date?
It was my boss.
First and last, actually. So go on, who was the first?
The first was, I still do design like 1 day a week. No, 2.5 days a week, but at the time less. And it was my boss at the time who was like, she's a get up and go, so she was awake at 7 a.m. ready for a date.
Yeah, nice.
And I love that, by the way, like working with people that support you to the point that they'll go on an online date with you when they're like employing you is crazy. And the last one was just a random guy, I think in Portugal or somewhere. You know, it was
yeah.
spectacular. In the sense that I didn't know who it was. It wasn't like some big, you know, I had friends that were poets that read poetry or like played the piano. It was just a very nice, normal date.
What moments stood out most to you?
Sorry. The thing that stood out the most was the amount of effort that people made. You know, I obviously made effort because it was my project, and I set my house up to look really romantic, and I prepared like romantic meals to have on camera and that kind of thing. But I would log on, and like there was a guy that had done the same. He'd set up like a 3-course meal, and he had money spread out on the table. He bought flowers. He was like really, you know, went for it. People wrote poetry. Like I said, they, you know, sung songs to me, and they were nervous too. I didn't expect that. I thought most people would just join and they're at work and they're just a bit bored, but they were like planning their day around doing it. And I think that, you know, the fact that it mattered to other people beyond just mattering to me, that was the thing that surprised me the most. I loved it, and I can't wait to do it in person.
As a performative piece, when you were doing it, did you feel like Harriet? Did you feel like a person, or did you feel like you was playing a character?
I think I felt like me in a way that I didn't expect. Like I felt quite vulnerable, and I thought I might be able to like put on, you know, date me a bit more than I did, because everyone has that front that you put on when you're trying to like impress someone or whatever. And I wasn't doing that. I was genuinely just like, "Hi, nice to meet you." Like I wasn't. I think I could have been performing more, but I'm glad that I wasn't. You know, I think it speaks a lot to once these things happen. It's one thing having a concept of an idea and like, you know, coming up with it, whatever. But in practice, you know, there's very few places you can really hide when it's just you and a new person that you've never met. Like, yeah, it was kind of wild.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, was it kind of like surprising in a way, seeing how strangers behave when they're a part of an art piece?
Yeah.
Because there's one thing doing like an online kind of like that, but being art,
Yeah.
you know,
Actually, I think being surveilled changes it a lot as well. Like I live streamed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And by that point, I hadn't done like loads of live performance. I'd done way more like art and design talks than I had like anything else. But I still knew what it was to sort of have to be in front of people and, you know, whatever. And of course, most people don't do that. You know, it's not a very natural thing to gravitate towards like performing in front of people. So I think the fact that they were being perceived by, you know, an audience as well as by me changes. I mean, they were all extremely well behaved. I think if it was just me, you know, say 50% of them were men and it was just me and them and no one else was watching, I wonder how different it would be. But I like that level of security that I sort of accidentally create as well, where they know they can't get away with, you know, some shit. So that's really nice.
And when it came to an end, Harriet, because you said then it was 18 hours, that's a long time, and it's actually quite a special time to just sit down and connect with people. I think, you know, day-to-day life, like you might jump on a call, you like sending emails, jump on a quick video call, talking about work or whatever. Sometimes you don't have that. Just, I know it's not face-to-face, and it is going to be, but, you know, it's call-to-call conversation. Yeah. What was your emotions like once you finished?
Oh, my God. Do you know what's so wild? And I think this says a lot about like how much we put ourselves through. I thought I was going to do 100 dates and then go to work the next day, you know, and be like, "Hi guys." I was ill for like a whole week. I stayed in bed. It was so exhausting. It like took so much emotional energy, and not even just talking continuously for like 18 hours, which is enough anyway, but the amount of yourself that you bring to it. Yeah, I was sick for like a whole week, and as in bed and, you know, flu-like, and I think it's just because I gave a lot to it. If I was gonna do it again, I don't think I would do anything differently, because I don't think you can mentally prepare for something that you've not done like that before. And I say if I'm going to do it again, I am going to do it again, and it'll be in person. So
yeah, that's cool. Let's unpack this. And so from the learnings from doing this, and obviously now flipping it to do it in person, how would you approach it differently, or like what would the things you'd do?
Good question. The first thing that pops up is security, actually. You know, not only do people know where I'm going to be and when, which is a new phenomenon for me, but they're also having access to me in a way that's like, you know, intimate and yeah. So I'll definitely have security set up. I think it has to almost be ticketed in some way. Like these very logistic, boring things actually will change it completely, because you just can't risk, when you're interacting with people in the general public.
Yeah.
Especially people that are going to skin me and eat me like a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So there's all that element of it. And then I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I've not done it, but it was emotional having, screen to screen contact with someone. So I don't know how emotional it's going to be, face to face. These are all things I have to work out, but I'm doing it in August at Edinburgh Fringe.
Nice. Nice. So have you got a location you're going to do it at there? Have you sorted all that stuff out?
Yeah, I've not sorted out the gallery because I want it to be in an art gallery rather than
nice.
I'm doing the month of shows there, and I thought one thing that'd be nice to bring to it would be that, just because the amount of people and artistically interested people. And I mean, I can't help but liken it obviously to Marina Abramovich doing the artistic MoMA.
Love it.
Like, she sits there, she's across from someone, they're having a connection. That's one of my favorite pieces of work ever. And yeah, it's interesting how much thought you actually have to put into it. And I think this is why I didn't do it in person the first time around, because I only had a week to plan it once I thought of it. So it was purely based on like logistics, but it'll be nice to see the contrast between the two and how different it feels.
Yeah. And have you thought about how you're going to curate that space or that moment? Like, what's the atmosphere that you're going to catch?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, when I think of it, it's in a white wall gallery, and it's sort of minimalistic in the way that it could be, me and them sitting across from each other at a table for two with a candle, that kind of thing. I did think about doing it in bed, like a different person in bed every 5 minutes. I think that changes it though in a way that makes it more sexual than I want it to be. But it is quite intimate, and like I want to emulate the space of like, we're not sitting in a cold cube, we're actually like on a date. So I've not answered those questions yet, and I think it'll become more apparent as I start planning it. The worry is, I mean, the worry with the first time round was, am I going to get 100 people to do this? And I think, it's even easier online because you just have to like log on. So that'll be interesting to see if I can get 100 people to do it.
That's really interesting. Yeah, it is, because like, what would your approach be to curating that 100 people in person? Would it be different than online?
I don't know, because when Marina Abramovich did it, I think it was just a big queue. Like the queue to see the Queen. Yeah. It was just like one of those where it was like, and I'm obviously not going to have that sort of publicity or traction in the same way. So it could maybe ticketed, but then you want people to show up. And when I did the 100 dates online, I had 100 dates and I had 100 reserves in case they didn't show up. So maybe I have to do a reserve system. Yeah. I'm excited though.
Yeah, me too.
Might be able to top on blue with this one.
I did a Metro article that the Metro wrote a thing where I don't know why they do this, but it was I yearned for 1,000 people in a day. Like I just pined for them, and I love that. Like, you can't prove it, but it's probably true. And yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. I don't want to come up against Bonnie. I think she has the commitment of. I mean, yeah. I know, and I mean, I know I'm 2 and 4, but I think if you put her in a white wall gallery and she had Crafts Council funding, she'd be one of the most famous performance artists in the whole world. It's the context of the fact that she's in a flat in Birmingham or in a bank bus on some bridge in London, and it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it changes what it is, and I think context is so important, and a tool that you can use for sure.
Yeah. Mad.
Yeah, you're right. The environment change is such a big thing. I think Virgil Abloh mentioned something like this, like you take a piece of trash and you put it in an art gallery, and now all of a sudden it's like this item, this product, this project, which is worth hundreds of thousands. But if you just put it in the bin around garbage, it's just a piece of garbage.
I think that a lot about like things, Balenciaga, when the models look homeless and they're all in like things hanging off them, and they kind of look, like they haven't had access to a warm house or something. And it's crazy that, like, firstly, that they get away with it and it isn't shamed more. Yeah. But it is context, because they're on a catwalk in Paris. But if they were sitting outside my house in Brixton, like asking for money, you would never think, oh, they look so fashionable. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, that angers me in a different way. But again, context is just everything. And it's almost annoying how fickle people are when when it is so much about context that you can't like take something out of a space and put it somewhere else and think, oh, maybe it is art, you know. So yeah, going from digital to offline is going to be crazy.
Yeah, nice. Keeping it offline then, onto a stage that's really physical, the comedy turn. How did this creep in? What inspired it? How was it when you first stepped on the stage? Talk to us.
Can you imagine having never done comedy before, going onto a stage, like the minute before you walk out onto a stage and try and stand there with a mic and make people laugh? It's like I came up with a list of things I would rather be doing, and it was like root canal at the dentist, all my taxes. Like I'd rather see every single ex-boyfriend and have them scream at me. Like there was a list as long as my arm of things I would rather be doing. But I think that's quite like exhilarating in a way, because when do you ever get to, you know, it's rare that you get to do something that scares you that much, but you're still compelled to do it. Comedy is just a way in to speak to people about something. For me, that's what it is anyway. I know some comedians, you know, the number one thing is to make people laugh, and I think that's really commendable. But the reason I'm not a comedian and that I'm a performance artist in a comedy space is for the reason that I don't really mind if people are laughing or not. I just want them to engage with art. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean that in like an I'm better than anyone else way. If anything, I just can't really make people laugh in the same way as a comedian can. So I have to be comfortable with that not happening. But at the same time, there's honestly very little funnier than the general public engaging with a woman that got the tattoo of the mother's name. Do you know what I mean? So it sort of writes itself in a way as well. I think humour is extremely important in art, and I think it's overlooked a lot. You know, there seems to be this sort of narrative that if something's funny, it isn't art, and if something's serious, it's not comedy. And that, you know, people want it to be black and white. And I think that humour is just another way into getting people to engage with art. You know, so much of my work anyway. I mean, the temporary piece, it is funny. I think, you know, like it's in it, you know, in its sort of entirety, it's quite a silly thing to do, and that isn't lost on me. You know, that's kind of like almost the point of it is that it's not, you know, 100% serious. Same with 100 Dates. It's, you know, there has to be an element of humour. I went to see Marina Abramovich's show in Manchester like last month with my dad, and she said in a talk that she did before, if she wasn't an artist, she thinks she would have been a comedian, right? And then proceeds to tell one of the worst jokes I've ever heard. No one laughed. But everyone laughed because it's Marina, and you know you have to. I thought that was really interesting, because I think that she also has that element of humour in her work that that's invaluable to it, that serves it.
How did that make you feel when she said that?
Well, I'm so glad I filmed it, because I didn't film very much of it, but she started talking about like humour, and I was like, I have to get this.
Yeah.
It was like extremely validating, because a lot of the time, like people in the art space would be like, what, you're doing the Frog and Bucket in Preston? That's not very artisty. Do you know what I mean? But I think it couldn't be more like authentic in a way, because I have to try even harder to convince people I'm an artist. So it was very validating to hear her say it and then tell the worst joke in the world. It didn't even make any sense.
Going back to one of your earliest projects at university, this conversation just brought back the Heinz project, Spank My Bottom. Like it's always been there. Like where do you think that came from? I know, like, doing graphic design is like, especially in the UK, there's always like a level of wit that comes with it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Where do you think you grasp that?
I've got a very funny family. Like my mum and dad are, you know, some of the funniest people that I know, and my uncle, and just they're the sort of people that when I'm with them, we just don't stop laughing. And I think that it's really been, humour's been the way I've been taught to share emotion with people, because we're not serious. We don't talk about, like, you know, any sort of serious things, but we can joke about them. And I think that's, you know, again, I'm not the first person to say that, but I think it's true in the way I was brought up. You know, humour is just such a big part of my like life. And, you know, find me a funnier person than someone from the north. Sorry, I'll die on that hill. The funniest people I know are from Liverpool, Manchester, like, and they're also not comedians. And I've heard people say this before, and now I understand it. The funniest person in my life is my friend Beth, who's a police officer. Do you know what I mean? And you know, comedians are just people that have managed to distill that, go on a stage, and almost be, you know, stupid enough to not be too scared to do it. So yeah, but yeah, I think humour came from growing up with my family and growing up in the north. And graphic design's interesting as well, in the sense that it's about communicating something with an audience. You know, you have to be a good graphic designer communicates the essence of a brand, or like what they want people to do, or a call to action, or whatever. And that's all I'm still doing that now. I'm just doing it in a way that feels more authentic to what I want to say. So they're all linked to each other. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that, you know, people in creative industries can go all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, I think it makes so much sense.
What's like with that, and like the element of like making connections, with building off what Michael's saying there, with the element of like even like smiling the mind, so to say, right, but verbally.
Yeah.
What's your process? Like, do you like writing on a buzz? Do you like going into the park? I've heard like a couple of comedians speak to this, and like they joke about their experience that they have to say they take flights a lot. I can imagine a lot of the content is going to be around, you know, being on a plane and going through security and so you are what you experience. So do you force yourself to have obscure experiences to inspire content and stuff like that? And yeah, what's the element of the process for you like?
I mean, it's pretty similar to design. It's not really changed in the sense that you give me a month to do a project. In that last week, I'll do the work. And in the last day before it's due, the hours before the show, then I'm like, damn, I can't believe I didn't think about this 3 weeks ago. Of course you didn't. You didn't have the time pressure. So I do the same thing exactly. I have to wait till I'm being like literally, you know, forced to do the work, and then I'll do it. I'm a massive procrastinator. But I also, the same is true that like I'll have an idea in the shower, or when I'm swimming, when I'm at the dentist, you know, just the mundanity. To like bring out. I think actually that's probably when your mind's at its most like restful, and then it allows for the thing. Sitting down in front of a computer and being like, I have to be funny is never going to work. It'll be the shittest stuff that I ever write. Or same with coming up with concepts for work. They're the things that find you. You know, I'm sure with the temporary piece, I was probably on my way home from someone's flat after using like their flatmate's toothpaste on my finger, and I just thought like, fuck you guys, you know, like fuck all of you kind of thing. And it comes from rage. You have to be experiencing things, I think, to make art that can communicate it, you know, clearly. But I think I always had this idea that one day I'd be getting up at 7 a.m. I'd do 4 hours of writing. I'd go for a cold plunge. I'd make porridge. Listen, even
the ideal.
I thought I was going to my way through my 30s, and listen, the most realistic I can be is if I can get things done even near a deadline and somehow sustain myself, then I'm winning. I think that's also why, you know, when people get like rich and famous, and you always reminisce about their best work being when they were, you know, struggling to find somewhere to sleep, or like, you know, trying to pay bills and stuff. I think there's so much like creativity in the fact that your life's on the line. And then as soon as people get comfortable, like Jimmy Carr getting paid like $5 billion to go and do some gig that everyone else turned down, there's less like risk, you know. So I think risk and almost like suffering creates the best work, which is such a fucking shame, because I'd love to stop getting in relationships that make me come up with with ideas. I'm sure one day I will.
During this period, what have you learnt about yourself, going from design to performance art to comedy?
How long have you got? Basically everything I've learned about myself has been in the past like year. I think I'm far more insecure than I ever realized. I thought I was a bit insecure. I think I'm infinitely more insecure than I could ever have imagined, and that sort of comes up in wanting connection with people to be authentic, or wanting to be seen and understood. You know, even you have to do this thing when you're doing stand-up where you record it and watch it back. And I still actually haven't watched one of them back, because I can't fathom having to watch myself for an hour. I've never watched the podcast that we did, you know, like I've seen maybe the first 10 seconds, because there's just something so deeply uncomfortable about being perceived as a person on camera, and you're looking at all your flaws and the way your mouth moves and like just stuff like that. I think as I have to do more camera stuff, it really shows how insecure I feel, which is quite nice really to know that about yourself. And it's shit. I did my first like to camera video because I was reading out an article that I'd written, and I heard insults that I haven't heard since primary school. and that you have to have thick skin or be somewhat secure in your own journey to like not take that to heart. It's really difficult. So I think that's something I've learned, and that I'm happier alone than I ever imagined that I could be as well. There's not yet been that moment where I was so scared of like waking up on a Sunday morning and no one's around and no one cares about me, and if I died you wouldn't even know until you sort of smelt it in the flat next door. But like that's not happened yet. Do you know what I mean? I actually feel quite happy.
Well, we're buzzing that you feel happy, Harriet, and we'd be sad. Do you know? I think that's really interesting because, like, even like your Substack's popping off. I think we see you as being so fearless. So when you say them things, I find it really interesting. You inspire me so much, Harriet. And honestly, every time I put, like, when we put a podcast out, I just want to crawl under the desk and just die. And you know what I mean? And we force ourselves obviously to listen to these back, and we're trying to get good at it, and we're trying to understand where our flaws are. We need to know where the flaws are so we can fucking work with them to make them. Exactly. So do you just see your Substack as like almost like in a good way possible, like a dumping ground to just be like, right, that's there now, and just right, safe. I'm running away.
You know what? I do aeroplane mode now. After when I play aeroplane mode, it's me in the shower. It's like, and then just until I've forgotten that I did it, and then I'll go back on my phone and be like, oh yeah, that thing. Like, I think you have to be so unprecious about how something does in the world. And I really believe now that like finishing a piece of work is putting it out and then it's done. And whether or not it does well, that's someone else's business. That's not my business. And I feel like that with Substack, because I use it as my diary, really. I mean, I've stopped writing my diary so much, I just write on Substack. The guy that I went home with was like, "You're not going to write, are you going to write about this?" And I was like, obviously, yes. And you know what was so sweet? I said, yeah, probably, like, maybe. And he paused, and I thought he was going to say, please don't. And he paused and went, can I write the ending? So you can like put it in. And I thought, isn't that so lovely?
Yeah,
and then he said, yeah, because I want to write about how big my dick is. I was like,
you have to man it up at the end, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Why can't you just make it nice?
Nice things, yeah, exactly. But it's funny that I now have that as well, where people think I'm good. They're going to be like in it. It's so. I mean, Substack works for me because all my work's quite confessional. Like it's about my life. And so is the Substack. And I think that I couldn't do it in any other way. I couldn't talk about something that I don't know about. And I know about what it is to be a yearner, or to, go home with someone and keep your trousers on. It's like, of course I want to talk about that. Listen, I've already written it. I wrote it in the day that I got back.
Fresh off the dome, do you know what I mean?
Sometimes it'll take me a month to write a Substack. That I got home at 7 a.m. By like 8:30 it was done. I think sometimes you just got to nip it. If you feel something, you've just got to like nip it in the bud.
Yeah, for sure. When you just quickly finish on this, like when you're on stage and you get a laugh, like that must feel good. Like must feel kind of like night, like I'm hitting home, so to say.
It's funny because I'm not past the stage where when I'm in front of an audience of like 50 people or something, which seems to be the sort of measure of it's full enough to feel extremely nervous, and it's also intimate enough to feel extremely nervous. Like it's both. And I'm not out of the part yet where it doesn't feel like an out of body experience. So I'm not. If loads of people laugh afterwards, my producer will be like, "That went well," and I'll be like, "Did it?" Or it bombs, and I'm like, "I think that was okay," and she's like, and I'm at the point where I can't even gauge how it's doing because I'm sort of so in myself and the content. So what I'd love between now and August when I go to Fringe is for that to shift. And I'm just going to find that by doing it again. But it's so vulnerable as well, because I say this at the start of the work in progress shows at the moment, that I'm not a comedian, I'm a performance artist. So if you laugh, that's great. And if you don't, you're just receiving the art in the way it was intended. And then I say that I'm not a comedian, and sort of something about like, I didn't realize that comedians make things up. And this was true. I didn't know this until like fairly recently, that most of the stuff they talk about is like fabricated as jokes. And it makes what you see in my show absolutely insane, because it's just my life. And I think that it's in some ways a drawback and in some ways a strength. that I'm just standing there sort of like giving my entire self to people for an hour. So very vulnerable, very weird.
I like how you use that at the start, like a disclaimer. Just it helps you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, so then when I bomb, I'm like, you get it. Actually, that was
This is part of the piece.
Well, that's what I did want to ask you, Harriet. You mentioned just then as well about bombing. You hear lots of comedians talk about that. Have you like experienced that for like one punchline that you thought you had that was like, okay, this is it, and it didn't land? Like, what the hell? What does that feel like?
I can tell you exactly what it feels like because it happened about a week ago. It was my first proper bomb, and of course it was the one that all my friends came to, and like everyone comes to see. And
Obviously.
I did 3 work in progress shows in a row, and the first 2 were like medium good. Like I was happy with how it went. It's the first time I'm sharing like most of that stuff. And then the third night, I think through a mixture of not having enough adrenaline left. So I remember before I went on stage, I was like, I don't feel as nervous as the first 2 nights. And I think I thought, oh, that's because I'm getting used to it. No, it's because I was exhausted and like sick and didn't have anything left. And about halfway through, I was noticing that like when I delivered lines that would normally get a big laugh, they were getting a sort of like, and that's when the panic sets in and my heart starts racing, my mouth gets dry. And I was like, oh, I've got the rest of the, because you know what's coming up, but they don't. So then I'm thinking about all the stuff I'm about to try and get them on board with. And some of it's me saying that I'm a monster and some of it's me cheating on someone and then I can't even explain. Just the fact that I got through it and didn't cry was like the biggest win. And yeah, it was a big learning, but I think it was also valuable in the way that now I know what that feels like. And the worst thing that happens is, afterwards, all the people that are normally like, wow, I love that so much. Someone said to me, I can so see like in the future when it's funny that you'll just, the feedback's so. But it also is very humbling. And I think actually quite an important part of being an artist in any capacity is separating how it does from like how I feel about it. Or trying to. I'm obviously still human, and it was still devastating.
Yeah, for sure. If you hit home every time, then do you learn more stuff about yourself, innit? Do you know what I mean?
All my friends were like, you learn the most out of the ones that didn't go well. Yeah.
Definitely,
and believe me, I've put out 75% of that show.
Wait, how long are you usually on stage for?
An hour. You've got to do 50.
Is it? Fucking hell! I was thinking like a quick 10 minutes, me.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. Because that's
remember an hour of anything.
Wait, whoa, that's crazy. So you have no cards, no nothing. It's top of the dome.
Well, at the moment, because it's work in progress, I have my Mac at the front, like on Keynote.
Right. Okay.
A lot of it's visual, and I have like some words just massive, like remember this bit. And
yeah.
You know what it's like doing a talk, and I'll just start like ad-libbing, and I'll just start mentioning things that aren't necessary, or like start like freestyling. It's awful. I can't wait till I'm good at it. And you know what's even worse, can I just say? Next, in like 2 weeks' time, I'm doing it again. And the comedian Lou Sanders is coming to watch, right? And I really respect her. I think her work's excellent. She's like a really successful comedian. And there's nothing worse. If I was doing pubs and like 4 people were coming and I was bombing, that'd be fine. Like it'd be way less stressful than bombing in front of like comedy legends. That's really horrible. So again, I think I'm on like I feel like I'm on a roller coaster sometimes, and I just have to like deal with the fact it's going to go a certain way.
At least they probably felt it too, though, right? I think they're good people to have in the room, if anything.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the other thing is it's sort of a new thing where you sell out shows. Like I'm selling out shows, but only because of who I am online. And therefore, like I'm having to practice, but in front of a sold out room of people in London. It just feels it's so unfair in some ways, but then I can't complain because then I've got friends that are like, I'd love to sell a whip out, So I just have to try my hardest and not cry in front of everyone.
Congratulations, Harriet. It's so sick. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. It's sick. It's sick to have seen just, you fully, I feel like you've maybe not fully found yourself, but you're finding yourself and you're the most, do you know what I mean? You're at the point where like you're doing the most, Harriet. It's sick to see. So stage 5, touching on letters to 100 people, which I think me and Michael are a part of.
Oh, don't even start on this. I get a DM once a week like, hey, did you send that letter? No, I haven't sent the fucking letter. been busy.
How you've been typing them out, and you've been on the typewriter typing them all
have
out.
you ever typed anything on a typewriter from the 60s? It takes me like 4 hours minimum to do one letter, and I'm doing 100 of them. And then between that, I'm trying to keep myself afloat and do design jobs, do work in progress shows. I've got like 58 other projects I'm working on. And I feel this guilt every morning. I wake up and I think I need to do those 100 letters. I've done like 40, I think, of them. And that's taken me nearly a year. It's so funny because I thought it would take me a month.
Big stint that though.
I'm still going to do it. Like I want to finish it before this year ends, because otherwise then I'm 31 and it's just taking the piss. I want people to open them when I'm 40. But even the ones I've written, I wrote one to this comedian and I was like completely in love with him when I wrote it. And it's the most, like, I regret it now and it's like 3 months later. Imagine 10 years and 3 months. How horrible. Yeah, you're on it. Don't worry. Yeah.
That's the point, right? That's the whole point.
The plan was 10 years, right? So does the 10 years start from when you sent that email about doing the project, or does it start from when we get them? Because
10 years starts when we get them. And everyone's going to have the same day that they open them, yeah.
That's it.
That's amazing.
And listen, if you open it before then, that's on you, and you got to lie to me for 10 years that you don't know that.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah,
I don't.
no
way out.
It really splits people, because people are like, "Oh, there's no way on earth I would open it," and then other people are like, "I'm going to open it the second I get it. You can't stop me from." Do you know what I mean? So I wonder how many people will open them.
Oh no, I feel so honoured to be a part of it. Like, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what you do on the day where everyone opens it and how it happens. What the unveiling's like.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to open it, and I'll tell you why. When I was interning in London, I lived with my creative director at one of the agencies I interned at for I lived there probably for about 3 or 4 months, and he obviously earned a fucking lot of money. And one day, he left his pay slip on the side. He was called Andy Richards. He left his pay slip on the side, and he was always not flexing, but I was like, God, like, he's doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he must be on like 90, 100K. I was thinking like back at the time. I'm like, fuck it. I want to look at it. I'm dying to look, and I did not look at it. Out of respect, I did not look at it. And
look at it.
I'm an honest person, Harriet. I did not look at it, so I'm not opening that letter. Most people would, right?
Yeah. The thing is, if I was in the 100 Letters project and it was one of my exes or something, and they were like, "You can't open this for 10 years," I'd be slicing that little baby open as soon as So I don't know. But then that was inspired by, because I write letters to myself all the time to open on like the next birthday or the next however many years. Yeah. And I love that because it's like a window to like your old self. So I keep those ones closed because I think that there's no point opening a letter from me the next day. But,
out of all the people that you've wrote to, Harriet, was the one letter you was the most nervous to write?
Yeah, and I've not written it yet. And I think I've been putting it off. Actually, I reckon that's why I've put off the whole project for nearly a year, is because what inspired it, which was not being able to say things to people to their face, has now become this whole thing where I'm like, what would I even say now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know I can't change how things have happened, and like, I don't want to make it about me, and I don't want to be a cunt. Sorry. I don't want, you can beep that. I don't, and I want to respect people's privacy, and maybe that's changed in me as well, that I don't feel like I need to walk around London with a bat like Beyonce and Lemonade and like, right all these wrongs. I can just be happy with how it's ended. So now I've got to like commit to writing a letter. One of them, I think I just want to leave like blank, or just write like one line and then they keep it for 10 years. And they open it and it's just like, I don't even know.
That's a killer.
That's shitty.
You got you think of the journey, don't you, that this letter could go on, right? People move houses, people move
marriages.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe they're all blank.
Again, that'd be the piece, right? Like, fucking hell, Harriet. Wait, so going to design head on. I seen that you're gonna do like a little wax stamp in it that says "Don't open me" on it, or something like that.
It's
nice.
Here.
Yeah, nice. So that'll be the reminder in it for anyone who's.
design will never not be important to me in the way that I couldn't do most of the stuff that I'm doing now in art and comedy.
Yeah.
I didn't have that basis of like an extremely skilled Photoshopper or like someone who can find out how you make t-shirts or prints or whatever, because I also need to monetize what I'm doing. So I do feel like I have an advantage sometimes in the way that I know how these processes work and what has to go into them. So it'll never not be valuable. And I think I spent a few years being resentful that I'd studied graphic design, or that it was like, you know, not where I'm ending up, but it's actually, I think about Andy Warhol a lot. You know, he was an illustrator for like packaging at the start of his career. And it's just formed exactly, you know, like it formed him in exactly the right way, I think, where then his subject was like consumerism and he wouldn't have had that experience. So I think you can't regret the stuff that you do ever, really.
Yeah, it's the perspectives. It's the perspectives you gain from them experiences too. Like again, like finding yourself and figuring yourself out.
Because I did Typo Circle Talk like a few weeks ago. And I bumped into Christian.
Yeah, big up ego.
Oh, he's so lovely. And it's really funny because I was doing the Typo talk and I start with saying I worked at Pentagram and then I left. But when I see him in the audience, I have to mention that I work with him as well. So it changes it a bit. And I'm like, I worked at the prestigious Turner Duckworth packaging company. I have to like freestyle then. It's all worth something. Like it all happens.
For sure.
For a reason.
Definitely. It's sick.
Yeah.
All right, that's amazing, Harriet. The last stage we've got is an open mic stage. So we're not going to get you to do your bit. Do you know what I mean? This is where you're going to get your material out and do a quick 10 minutes for us. We're just going to riff off each other. So recently when you did your typographic circle talk, I remember the little post you did about I'm trying to paraphrase it, but it was a take on, it was a riff on Anthony Barill's classic poster. What was it, Harriet?
It said, don't work too hard and only be nice to good people, or something like that.
I love it. And then you said you had an angry Anthony Barill in your DMs after it.
Yeah, he was actually really lovely.
No, I love the take on it, Harriet, and I think it's a really good point. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's one thing about just working hard and being nice to people, but being particular about who you actually do work hard for, and you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what a boomer piece. Sorry, I love that guy. Like, I think he's an excellent designer, and what he does is, you know, I think was, what's the right word? Inimitable. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, but aside from that, what a live, laugh, love. What a keep calm and carry on.
It really is. Yeah.
When I actually sit down and think about it, beyond the fact that it's quite nice and punchy and it's well typeset, it's one of the worst pieces of advice I've ever heard in my life. And it was so cathartic to say that out loud to a design audience and see people genuinely agree with you and be like, yeah, actually, that isn't right. Like, what do you mean? It reminds me of working in Holland and Barrett, and I had to be nice to everyone that like got their athlete's foot out on the counter, and I had to just like nod and be like, yeah, you are right. I think it's very misguiding, but at some point it probably meant something different to him and to the world. I mean, it's a nice sentiment. It's very unboundaried and sort of like, you know, it's distilled down to a few nice words.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely a respectful endeavour you've done there. It's a pastiche. It's almost paying homage to a classic thing, and then, you know.
Yeah. When I get to the point that people are like taking the piss out of my work because it's so well known,
you're buzzing, you're winning. That's it. You're up there, then, right?
And listen, someone told me how much he'd made from that one poster, and I can't even repeat it.
Listen, and I've got the poster. Do you know what I mean? I've got it, you know, and I'm sure most designers have it. You know.
Yeah. I'm also sure I'm not the first person that's, you know, riffed off it or something. I just think it's a really nice example of like reassessing who you are now as opposed to who you were when you bought the poster. You know,
that scrambling feeling you spoke about, Harriet, because, you know, I think we spoke about it last time as well, like screenshotting people's DMs and stuff and putting them back up. And I can imagine that scrambling feeling of a people. Like, what do you enjoy about that?
What's the right one?
Making people squirm.
Maybe it's to do with BDSM. I don't know. I really like to cause like an effect in someone that's so deep and uncomfortable. No, I think it's about accountability. I think holding someone accountable for something that they say, it's really hot. And you know, is that the reason he slid into my DMs? I don't know. But I think there's something inescapable about the change that you're causing in that. And why are you scrambling? Why can't you stand behind what you're saying? And I know it's going to come back to bite me in the ass in a spectacular way one day when someone like pulls up something I said on your podcast about Balenciaga, and then I have to be like, I didn't mean it. But but when that day comes, at least I know I've dished enough of it out that I deserve it. I don't know. I really get off
West
on it.
2.0.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Bloody hell. What a fall.
You kill me, Harriet. Honestly, you fucking kill me. I'm speechless. On my own, on the podcast that we're fucking running, I'm speechless. That's great. Do you know what I mean? Work that one out. Wow. Right. So the website and shop that you've got going on, do you just constantly just add to this? You come up with,
I had a shop for about 4 months. Someone emailed me and said I've not got my order.
I was just going to say, how do you control it if you had like a fucking, it's Christmas coming up, so we say like, are people ordering loads of prints? Yeah.
Be on it. I've made a new print of the tattoo, which is on my floor over there. And God, I would love a PA. I would love someone that just wanted to help me out, and I can't afford one. I can't afford an intern. But trying to balance everything, it's like this power struggle where I want to be in charge of it all. I sort of have to be because I don't have another option. Every other Sunday, I remember I've got a shop. I check all the angry emails about people that haven't received their book, and then I do them all in one go.
Yeah.
And I used to have a system. I think life just takes over, but I'm trying my best. I think for Christmas, I'll get myself in shape. But it's hard. It's hard. One thing, making work that people care about or like identify with. Monetizing that sometimes it feels impossible, so that's why Substack's amazing, because people just want to sort of like put money towards something they can believe in or like the content of. But I'd love to next year, I'm manifesting finding a way that I don't have to still do design jobs on the side. We'll see.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The reason I speak to it is like I was at Mr. Bingo's talk the other day, and he talks about that transition from being a commercial artist, commercial illustrator, to then just becoming an artist, right, and doing what he wants to do. But like in the act of the performance side of things, when he can just sell nothing and people buy nothing, and do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy how it all ladders up to that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that engagement of the person buying the piece, being the art themselves and wanting to engage with that thing. So are you conscious of that? Like,
I think I have this sort of internal battle where I want it to be accessible. Like, I don't want to put a paywall on my writing because I want people to be able to enjoy it, not necessarily afford, what I would charge for it. But at the same time, I'm losing money every month. People don't know that, but I'm losing probably about £400 or £500 a month since I moved into a flat by myself. And that's down to my maths being shocking, but also just like the cost of living and trying to sustain yourself. I'm just hoping one day it pays off. Finding the balance between like, I don't want to make people buy it, but I also need to find a way to live. I sort of hate that. That's why I really envy Nepo babies, like people that are born into wealth. But then I don't, like I spoke about the struggle before. I think the struggle inspires me in so many ways that I couldn't, not have it. So I don't know.
It's interesting, isn't it? It is interesting because, like, but yeah, I love, fucking hell, mate, it's sick. Do you know what I mean? Do you just have a stack? Have you just got a box of hats there and like t-shirts and?
I've got a cupboard in there of stuff that I need to shift. I've had like an influx of new like audiences since the temporary thing, and since I've started writing more honestly on Substack. So I'm really hoping that they see the value in like a t-shirt for Christmas. We'll see. I'll let you know how that goes.
There's definitely some in it. We've got some quick fire questions for you. So I'll hit the first one, Michael, and you follow after me. 3 performance artists that people should know.
Oh, bollocks. You think I know 3 performance artists? Marina Abramovich.
Well, I knew you was going to say that one. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, you know what I mean?
Carolee Schneemann. I love her. I love her work. And, oh, God, what's he called? Man on the Moon guy, Andy Kaufman, who's like a comedian but performance artist. They're like big pillars of they're also probably the only 3 that I know.
Is there a performance you wish you'd done?
Yeah, the artist is present. Or Bonnie Blues sleeping with 1,000 men in a both incredible pieces of performance art. But I don't have the stamina. I don't have the stamina for the artist is present.
Love it. Art you secretly hate?
Art I secretly hate.
Yeah.
Mr. Bingo.
Say no more.
The wildest person who follows you.
The what?
The wildest person who follows you.
Wildest. Paloma Faith, because I used to, when I was a kid, she was like the coolest person in the whole world. That I can't believe she follows me.
Nice. The wildest DM you've ever received?
Someone messaged me a few weeks ago and said I've changed the trajectory of their life, and they're no longer going to get their ex-girlfriend's tattoo covered up because it like now means something. Isn't that mental?
That's quite nice, actually. You know what I mean? It's quite, positive.
Yeah.
Feels like they've done some inner work. You know what I mean?
I didn't respond. I put that straight in the bin. That went into archived.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, God. So good.
What's your mum's favourite piece of work that you've done?
Oh, probably a spaghetti painting I did in primary school. She doesn't like the modern, she doesn't like the new stuff. Yeah.
It's gone downhill since then.
She does not love that stuff, yeah.
This is an interesting one, but like something you're too scared to make public. But it's a bit ironic really, because if you was going to make it public now, do you know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense. But
I'm too scared to make public. I think there's nothing left. I think doxing specific people, like I would never do that. I would never point at someone and be like it was him. I can allude to it, but I would never
Yeah,
I think it's right that I'm scared of that. I don't think I should ever do that. And this clip is going to age terribly. Yeah.
And last one of the quick fire round. What would you do if you weren't an artist?
Probably be a comedian.
Nice.
And I stole that. Yeah, I'd be a comedian.
Nice. The final questions for today's podcast, and you kind of touched on it a minute ago, but what does your mum actually think?
I think at the core of it, she's proud. I think
for sure.
she's battling with so many other belief systems that she held before I started doing performance art. But I think I would be misplaced to say anything other than proud and happy that I'm still healthy and alive. That's what I think she thinks.
Well, on this, Harriet, we want to try a little bit of performance art ourselves right now, if possible.
I'd love
Could you ring your mum and ask her what she thinks?
Yeah, she said, "Oh my god, it's only 6." Yeah, of course. I've spoken to her twice already today, so she might just be like, "What do you want? Are you ready?"
Nice for a speaker, yeah.
Let's see. If not, you might have to get my dad. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not gonna... They're probably having dinner.
Classic, innit?
It's so classic. What am I asking her? What does she think of me?
Yeah.
We're going to try my dad in a second.
We can ask the question if she can hear us.
Oh, okay. Let's try my dad.
Yeah, big up.
He has his phone on loud constantly. Oh, in fact, he called me about 10 minutes ago when we were recording this.
Yeah.
Okay, we go.
Listen, my mum's the same. It's always on charge in the kitchen. What's the point in having a phone, Ma? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the point?
She has a flat case as well that, like, you... I love that case. It's like hanging off a phone. I know they're not doing anything. Can we stay on until they answer?
Yeah, sure we can. It's the most frustrating thing in the world as well, isn't it? Like when you know they're sat in the front room and the phone probably next to them and they're just watching TV.
I was hoping even if they just picked up and went like, "Oh, sorry, love, we're just having dinner. We'll go back to just some really natural."
They will. I'm trying my mum again in a minute. You've not got anything to do, have you?
No, we're good.
Okay, let's try.
This is good podcasting.
You're gonna have to speak.
I'm going to get a water and just let it there for a second.
Yeah, please. This is sick. This is the art, bro. How amazing has it been to see the journey? I feel so blessed and grateful. I feel like I'm a fly on the wall.
What's that?
It is wild.
I feel like I'm a fly on the wall.
The journey.
Hello, Mum's phone.
Hello?
Hi, Mum's phone.
Hi, Mum's phone. Is Mum around?
She's just gone up to get changed.
Can she come back?
Did you not get my call before?
Yeah, I did get it. I'm on a podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, no, not a good time then.
No, I mean, I'm on
Hi,
a podcast.
Pete.
Hey, Pete.
That's, do you remember Christian Shepherd?
Who?
Says a lot.
No
Oh,
idea.
well, they've got this wonderful podcast called What Does Your Mum Think? And
Oh, right.
I have to call Mum and ask her what she thinks.
Okay, do you want me to get it then?
Yeah, if you could.
What about what Dad thinks?
Can you ask Dad what he thinks?
Peter, hi. What does Harriet's dad think about Harriet's recent piece of work?
Well, I haven't really seen it, so it's difficult to comment on
Is that it?
Nice.
it. Yeah, I've not seen it, have I?
Right.
And also, it depends which piece you mean.
Yeah, which piece do you mean?
Temporary.
The temporary tattoo.
Oh, temporary tattoo. What do I think of that? I think it's challenging for people to understand why you've done it. But I don't really understand the rationale behind it, but it seems very interesting. It's obviously sparked a lot of interest from a lot of people.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. That's a nice take, Peter.
Thank you. That was nice and honest.
Well, I'll try to be. Do you want to
Thank
speak
you.
to Mum?
Yeah, can we speak to Mum?
Yeah, hang on.
Nice one, Pete.
All right, no worries.
Hello.
Hi, Mum.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Kay.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry, you were getting
So-
changed, weren't you?
I'm changed now.
Okay, good. We're all relieved to hear that. I'm on a podcast with my friends, and it's called What Does Your Mum Think? I'm going to let them take the floor from here.
Right.
Hi, Kay. Welcome to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast.
Hello.
We have a section. Obviously, the podcast is called What Does Your Mum Think? So we'd love to know what you think about Harriet's work and more specifically about the temporary piece.
Right. Well, she's her own boss, so Harriet can do what she wants to do. The temporary tattoo. Yeah, she seems to be getting a lot of likes for it. And yeah, we're very proud of everything that she does.
I love it.
You can't get
That's
better than that.
amazing.
Thank you, Mum.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much, Kay. We appreciate you.
right.
Thanks. See you later.
Nice one, Kay.
Bye.
Harriet, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And again, as we were saying in the background then, I think for me and Michael, we've been friends with you now for a good while. And again, we're your biggest fans.
Oh,
Congratulations on all your successes and pushing through and being the most fearless person that we know. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
you're mental. Thank you. It's a pleasure knowing both of you. And just, I think, like, also being active in the community that you're in as well. It's like, it's so very few people see the worth in that. You know, they just want to, like, get on with what they're doing or, you know, and I think the fact that you're sticking with it and, yeah, making something of, like, having a voice in design is so important. I love it.
Really
Do
trying.
you know one of the last things that was said on the previous podcast was that you was going into Starbucks and you was just telling people that you was an artist in the queue
Yeah, I
all the
kept putting
time.
my name as an artist. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it before. It's just like just breathing things into existence, and I think like you're doing it, Harriet. Like it's really amazing to see. And congratulations on all your successes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I stopped doing that because I went into a Costa and someone wrote arsehole on the on the cup.
You know what I mean?
No, you heard it wrong, and they were like, "No, I heard it right."
You kill us. Right, listen, we love you, and I'm sure we hope to have you as a regular. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sure you'll be on again soon.
I hope
but,
I'll be back. Yeah, when I'm in trouble again.
thank you. Thank you for your energy, Harriet. You're sick. Keep doing you at all times. We
Thank
love
you
you.
so much, Harriet. Also,
Peace, 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 peace,
Love
peace.
that.